Hello YouTube family. Today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful asymmetric waistline gown with an asymmetric neckline. If you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you to all those that have subscribed already. So let's get right into today's tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to put down my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on the start line of my pattern paper. Then I'm going to go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I will use the ruler to draw the shoulder slope just like that. Then the next thing to do is to mark out our armhole length. I'm going to be marking out the armhole length using the ruler to draw out a straight line on the armhole length. Then the next thing I will be doing is to use my armhole curve to create that armhole curve on my pattern paper. So after doing that, I'm going to be putting out my points on the pattern paper. So I'm going to be putting my bust point, under bust point, my waist point, and my hip point. After which I'm going to be drawing this line so that you can see clearly when I'm putting out my measurements on each point. So after doing that, I'm going to be dividing my bust span, that's my nipple to nipple, by 2. My client's nipple to nipple is 5, so I'm going to be marking 5 on the bust point, on the under bust point, on the waistline, and the hip line. So we are going to be using these to create the dart on our bodies. So I'm going to draw a straight line joining those points together. Then I'm going to be taking out 1 inch on each side of the under bust. Then I'm going to come down by 1 inch on my bust point. After coming down by 1 inch on my bust point, I'm going to be slanting my ruler like this, joining the points I made on the under bust. I'll join on the under bust, and then I'll join that point down to the hip point as well. So after doing that, the next thing I will be doing is to put down my round circumference measurement. So the first I'm going to be doing is to put down my bust circumference divided by 4, and then I'm going to be adding 2-inch sewing allowance. I'm going to also repeat the same thing on my under bust point. My under bust, I'm going to be taking out that, I'm going to be replacing that 2 inches I removed from the dart. I'll be placing it on the side. The waistline and the under bust point is the same round circumference. So I'm just going to put down the same measurement on the waist, and then I'm going to mark out my hip circumference on the paper. So the next thing after doing that is to join those points together using my ruler. I'm going to be using the armhole curve to give the hip line a fine curve, and then after that I'm going to be marking my neck style. I'm going to be using like a 4-corner neck on this particular pattern paper, but that is not what I'm going to be doing. We are not doing a 4-corner neck, but this is just a guide to get the asymmetric neckline that we want. So I'm going to be cutting out the paper. Keep watching so that you see what we are doing till the end. I'm going to be cutting the paper. So the next thing I'm going to do is to use my front pattern paper to cut the back piece. So I'll just place it like this, and then add 1 inch zipper allowance, and then change the neckline for the back, because the back is going to be a round neckline that is high. So I'm using 1.5 inch for the depth and 3 inches for the width. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the back piece. So now that I'm done cutting the back piece, I'm going to be placing my pattern paper on the main fabric we are using for this style. And just like I'm doing, you are going to mark out the four corner on your fabric like this, but you are not going to cut it out yet. You are just going to mark it with a chalk and then cut out the remaining parts of your bodies using this pattern paper, just like I am doing right now. So after doing that, I'm going to be creating a notch at the center part of the neck. Then I am going to open my fabric open like this. Then I will use my ruler to create the center line of our neckline. The same measurement I have for the other side, I'm going to be putting it on the other side of the neckline. Then I'm going to mark it just like I am doing. This is how you are going to do. After doing that, you're just going to place your ruler from one side of the neckline slanty like this. I discovered that it was too small for my client, so I increased it by 1 inch, and then I slanted the ruler again just like this. The next thing you're going to do is to cut on that slanty line that you created, just like the way I'm cutting on it like this, and then you will cut on the other side. So we are done creating our asymmetric neckline. So the next thing we are going to do is the asymmetric waistline. I'm going to be going up by 4 inches on one side of the hip. I'll go up by 4 inches. Then I'm going to use my curve just like this. I'm going to make a fine curve around that place I marked down like that, just like the way I'm doing it. This is how you are going to do yours as well. So I'm cutting it and removing out the excess from my fabric. After doing that, I checked and I wasn't liking the curve. It was not as deep as I wanted, so I added an extra 1.5 inch to give it that deeper asymmetric line I want. So if you are doing yours, you should go up by 7 inches so that it gives you that sweet deep asymmetric line that you would love. So after doing that, the next thing, I went ahead to cut out my back piece on the main fabric. I used my pattern paper just like you see me doing to cut out the back piece of my main fabric. The back piece on my main fabric, sorry. Then one side of the back is going to be having the asymmetric, the curvy side of our front, and then the other side is going to be having that straight line. So you are just going to be putting your fabric on one piece, and then you cut it like this, and then the other piece would just be straight, just like the other side of our front bodies. So the next thing, I went ahead to fix the lining. I ironed it open, and then I am going to be joining the side seams together. After doing that, you turn it with your lining, and then you join the side seams together. You put your shoulder facing right side, facing the right side, and then you open you flip one of your lining just like this, and then that is how to join your shoulder inseam. So I'm done joining my bodies together, and I went ahead to iron it open. So as you can see, the asymmetric line is showing. that asymmetric waistline is already showing. So I went ahead to create gathers on the skirt part of my dress. Then I am going to be joining it to the waist, the hip line of my upper bodies, just like the way I'm doing. That is how you're going to do it. You sew it round the upper bodies. So you're going to be joining it right side facing right side, and then that is all. So thank you for watching. If this tutorial was helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and if you have any questions to ask, drop it down below the comment section.